We recently ran a help wanted ad looking for retail workers as well as food service workers who are looking to make a change. And over the last week and a half, we received over 60 applications. I'm Ron Ramsden. I'm a DYB coach, also a painting contractor here in Massachusetts. How do we sift through these 60-something applicants? And there came in some more this morning, so it's probably up by a couple more. We hit a sweet spot with people looking to make a change. So what we did is do group interviews. If we were hiring a specific, maybe a crew leader, we'd want a one-on-one interview. But because these are what we're going to call newbie workers who are moving into a new position, a new field, being painting, what we're going to do is we're going to do group interviews. And it's worked great for me, and I just want to share a little insight on how I host the group interview and what we do. And I put a couple bullet points here. They're not actually in order after I looked at them, but I wanted to get that out to you. What we do is take the 60 or so applicants, sift through them. We were specifically looking for food service workers as well as retail. So if they weren't into some other kind of field, we really don't want to talk to them. We wanted to talk to them because they're used to dealing with customers. They're working to use some kind of different hours, and we can change that. We like their customer skills, service skills, but we also can give them more normalized hour and tend to pay a lot more per hour than they're currently making. So it can be a win-win for everybody. But back to the group interviews. After sifting through the applicants of about 60 of them, I found about 20 of them that were good, and I wanted to explore more. So after having a few questions we had on the online application, I reached out to them and set up an interview. And we gave them 2 times they could actually come for an interview. Well, I did not tell them this was going to be a group interview. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but I also want to see how they carry themselves. So I pick a local coffee shop, which around us happens to be a very large Dunkin Donuts, which I can grab a table in the back, and I invite, like I said, 5 people. The 5 people, 2 usually do not show up. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and for some reason I've never had all 5 show up. So right there we can cross them off the list. The 2 interviews I held last week, the first interview, 3 participants showed up to be interviewed and 1 was late. And if the person was late, I told them that was okay, we're going to pass this time. They just kind of turned around with an attitude and left. And that was great, because if they're late for the interview, they got to be late for work. So let's nip that one in the bud right now. So the interview process is we had 3 on one of the group interviews, and we had 2 on the others. So what do I look for? I just want to look how they carry themselves. I know it's an interview at a Dunkin Donuts, but some kind of respectful dress is required. Shorts are fine as long as you're neat and clean and actually shaved or neatened up a little bit. So first impressions is number 1. Of course, being there on time, that's number 1 also. And then I go and I ask them a little bit about themselves. But prior to this, what I also asked them to do is if I can record the conversation, because there's a lot to take in. I can't take notes that fast. No one's ever said no, because they're usually there because they want a job. And this is for myself, so I can go back and remember what they said later on. I don't videotape it, I just record it on my phone. So also from there, we go through the 11 questions we use in the DYB hiring process. If you don't know those, we'll add a link to the bottom here of the video, and you can get those 11 questions. So and we have a quick conversation. It's no longer than a half hour, depending on how many people are there. And at that point, if I feel that I want to bring them back for an additional interview, or we can ask additional questions at that point. And we also ask, their start date. I don't talk about money during the interview. And during the 11 questions that I actually ask, I don't go applicant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't ask them all the same question. We kind of rotate it up a bit, because what I find is if you're interviewing 3 people and asking the same question, by the time you get to the 3rd person, you've gotten the same answer a couple times. And the reason why I do these group interviews is my time is worth something, and I don't want to waste my time. And a couple times with the group interviews, even if it's only 3 people, I've had nobody show up. At that point, I can get a cup of coffee. And what I do offer, when they do come for the interview, I ask them if they'd like a coffee or a tea or an iced coffee or something like that. I did have someone once ask for a large colada. That person was X'd off my list because I'm not buying them a $7 colada when I don't drink those myself. So, a couple things to look for is being on time, neatness of dress. You're not looking them to look fancy. You're going to a coffee shop, but at least a good appearance. How they carry themselves. If they can interact with you. I know they're nervous. They're going to be very, very nervous, and most of them don't even want something to drink. I'll ask just how about a water or something like that. Then I ask the 11 questions, and pull a little more out of them. Gives you a good feeling about the person. See how they answer the questions, if they think about their questions, and if they're just not copying the person next to it. That's why we jump around during those 11 questions. Also ask about vehicles, things like that. Make sure they have a vehicle, make sure they have a license and things. So anyways, that's why we do group interview. This is something to think about when you get multiple applicants, is that you're not spending days and days and days interviewing each person. Anyways, I hope that helped you if you get a lot of applicants. If you'd like to see the ad we have putting out there for retail and food service workers, please reach out to me. I can send you a copy. I'm Ron at DYB Coach, way up here. Ron at DYB Coach. I don't know if you can see that with the screen here. Move that a little bit. Ron at DYB Coach. Also, you can find out more about DYB at joindyb.com. Love to chat with you. Reach out to me on Facebook. Send me a message. It's all good. Have a great day. Once again, Ron, DYB Coach, also painting contractor up here in Massachusetts, hiring new teams. Have a great day.